The Mesa Chamber of Commerce Inside Business Podcast brings you a unique view of Mesa through its vibrant business community and the subjects that are important. The podcast is produced in the Mesa Chamber of Commerce Media Studio. Our podcast is hosted by Mesa Chamber of Commerce CEO Sally Harrison. Please enjoy this episode of the Mesa Chamber Inside Business Podcast.
Hi, I'm Sally Harrison, president of the Mesa Chamber of Commerce, and today in our podcast studio, I have my friend Susan from the Mesa Historical Museum. I'm so happy to see you.
I'm happy to see you. I'm just happy to be here.
That's
Whatever we
always
talk
fun.
about.
Oh, there's 1,000 things we could talk about, but I think we should talk about the museum because I will tell you, there are so many people that still don't know about it, and it's so old.
I know.
How long has that museum been there?
The museum has been there, I think, since the 80s. And it went away, and then it came back, and it went away and came back. So since I've been there, I've been there almost 7 years. And so we've been there 8 years in Lehigh, where we are now.
So what were you doing before the museum?
I was living in South Dakota, and I was chasing buffalo and working. I was actually working for tribal buffalo programs up in South Dakota. Yeah.
What part of South Dakota?
Rapid City.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was amazing. It was amazing, but winters not so amazing.
I can't even imagine the winter.
Yeah, and then 1 year in Minnesota with wolves. So went from buffalo to wolves, and then here. Yeah. That's how that went.
Okay,
yeah.
That's an interesting.
But 30 below zero is just not my vibe anymore. It might have been my vibe when I was like 10, but not when you're over a certain age. No, that's not where I wanted to be anymore.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's talk about something way more fun than cold. Let's talk about the baseball museum. State's first and only baseball museum. That's cool.
It is very cool.
So what inspired its creation, and what makes it such a unique destination for baseball fans and history enthusiasts?
Well, as you know, at least, that we used to have a baseball exhibit inside the Mesa Historical Museum. So years and years ago, the Mesa Historical Museum had what they call play ball. And so that was an exhibit. It traveled around. We were downtown for a little while, but it was memorabilia and stories about, play ball, baseball mostly in Arizona. And then different directors, different leadership, and eventually that kind of fell by the wayside. And then when I came on, my board president, who is a Mesa Hohokam, Anita Peters, she and I are both East Coast girls, love the Mets, love the Yankees, started talking about baseball during my job interview, and she was sad that the baseball presence was gone. So we both kind of had an unwritten pact, like, if I get this job, we're going to bring baseball back. So they hired me, and then we brought baseball back in a small way, but then COVID hit, and so then that knocked out our big baseball unveiling. We had this big, huge event and an author, and we were all excited, and it all got wiped out. But
everything else.
But we continued to work on baseball, and so we had an exhibit room of baseball, but it just wasn't enough. We had so much memorabilia, and it just wasn't enough. And I was like, how are we going to increase the revenue for the museum overall? And I kept looking at that 1939 auditorium next door, which was just sitting there filled with stuff. I mean, it was storage, and it was a mess. And so that's where, the idea was, well, what could we do with this? And we talked about a Hall of Fame, but really it needed to be an Arizona baseball museum and not just about the Cactus League, which is a big, huge component. But you've got to tell all the stories in Arizona. There's so many stories. And so that's how that all evolved. And then came the dreaded capital campaign and renovation, which took 2 years, and then finally opening in February.
That was pretty exciting. I was really grateful that I could be there that day. But let's talk about the details. So from one-of-a-kind artifacts to powerful stories like the Japanese internment exhibit, which I don't think most people understand. What are some of the most memorable experiences visitors can expect today? And is there anything new on the horizon?
There is
excited
so
about?
much new on the horizon. So we just recently, within the last 2 weeks, we added the Cactus League Hall of Fame. So now we really are the home of the Cactus League Hall of Fame. We've had the plaques up before, but we couldn't do the whole exhibit. So we've done panels. So it's a standalone, and we are so happy. And the Cactus League is happy. I'm fortunate that I'm on the induction committee. So we are partners with the Cactus League. I love them. They're so fun to go to the inductions and work with and go to their meetings. So so that is brand new, and that we have the Cactus League Hall of Fame now. Right now, as you said, we have Japanese and tournament baseball, and then next year I'm trying to change out everything in the museum. So year after year, if you've seen it, then I want you to come back. So when you fly back there for the next spring training, I don't want anybody to say, "Oh, I've seen it." No, you haven't. We're totally different. New memorabilia, new stories, a whole new museum for you to see. And we're going to do Native Americans in baseball because that's near and dear to me. So that's going to be our next special exhibit. We're going to do baseball mascots, new fan memorabilia. We keep getting donations and loans on a monthly basis, and this is the most exciting. It's like Christmas. Somebody pulls up and they pop open their hatchback, and you should see I'm like a little kid. I'm so excited to see what they've brought me. You know, I tend to overreact about everything anyway, but it was very exciting to see what people are bringing.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, Mesa's played such an important role in Arizona's baseball story, from its early roots to the development of Cactus League. Why was it important to tell that history, including the contributions of the Mesa Hohokams, and what do you hope visitors take away from that?
My favorite thing about doing any kind of exhibit is when I overhear people leaving and saying, "I can't believe it," or "I didn't know that," or "Can you believe it?" That to me means that you've done your job. When they walk out and they have comments to their family members. And so, you know, we're looking at tourists. So they're coming from all different cities around the country. We're not talking about just Mesa people or Arizona people. And so they never probably even heard of the Mesa Hohokams. They don't even know who Dwight Patterson is. They don't know that without Dwight Patterson, without the Hohokams, we wouldn't probably have the Cubs here in Mesa. And that Mesa has 2 ball clubs, and that we really were the birthplace. And Dwight Patterson was the father of the Cactus League. So that is why it's so important, because it evolved here. It has grown here. There's so much enthusiasm, and I don't know, like, of course you are a Mesa Hohokam, but
I am.
But whenever I see them, you know, they come to a gathering, or I go to the ball club and I see all of you, there is such a kinship. I love them, and
it's a family.
It is a family, and who else has that? Like, it's here in Mesa. They don't have the Mesa Hohokams in other places, so I just feel like this is such a great place to celebrate Arizona baseball here in Mesa.
Well, I will tell you, as I'm selling raffle tickets and greeting people at the D gate at Hohokam Park, you know, you always make small talk, right, and ask where people are from, and so many visitors and so many people who didn't even know about the museum, but certainly didn't know, because it was brand new this spring training, that there was now a baseball museum. So I don't know how many people I told. Basically everybody that stood with me, and while I'm, you know, ringing them up, trying to get their, you know, their ticket receipt, I'm telling them, you know, how long are you in town? You need to make a visit over there. And people that were surprised, and B, so excited that there was something else to do that still was about baseball.
We track, you know, we try to track where people have heard about us or where they're on their way to. And so many of them come in the morning. Like, do you know what a great feeling it is to pull up to work and there's already people like waiting to come in, which has never happened to us before. But they're coming because they're getting ready to go to the games. And so I love that, because that means they're up already, they've had breakfast, they come to the museum, they spend an hour and a half. Sometimes they do a bundle, and they also see the History Museum, which that's probably been about 50% of our visitors said, "Hey, I'm here, I might as well see both," which is really fantastic. And then they spend a couple hours with us, and then off they go to the game, or they go to the game and then they have some time to kill before they go out to dinner. So they come to us, and then they go downtown to eat.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, your new Mesa A to Z exhibit explores the people, places, and moments that have shaped this community. How did you decide which stories to feature? Because I'm sure there's thousands. And what do you hope visitors discover about Mesa through that exhibit?
Again, that's another, wow, I didn't know that aspect. And we want that for every exhibit. Like some exhibits are going to have more of a wow factor than others. But the Mesa A to Z, my operations manager and I have been talking about this for a long time, you know. And one of the reasons we wanted to do it is that we've got so many cool things in our collections and they're random. So how do you just put out like an alligator purse with the alligator face and head still on it? There's a purse for you, Sally. You're going to have to...
Okay, as much as I like purses, I'm not sure if I need a head on
and
that
it's
purse.
really old and it's weird, but how else would we exhibit it? So you think, okay, let's come up with an exhibit where random things is acceptable. So Mesa A to Z. So that's really how that came about.
How fun.
So there was an alligator farm, Jack's Alligator Farm, but a lot of people didn't know that. We had an ostrich farm.
Where was the alligator farm?
I have it on the storyboard, but I don't remember where exactly it was.
Where you would put that in
Jack's
Mesa.
Alligator Farm, and I think that's where the purse came from, and then it eventually got passed down to us. And we also have some modern day alligator purses as a comparison. You know, O is for ostrich, so we've got ostrich eggs and ostrich feathers and a story about, you know, the early ostrich farms that were here. Yeah, so, and then we have, so we stretched it a bit because we really wanted to show off some crazy stuff. And we've got, it could be under E for electrical, early electrical, but it's this wild, crazy gadget that was from the 1920s that was supposed to cure gout, tuberculosis, and dandruff. And it's got little attachments, and you plug it in, and it goes, it zaps like a bug zapper. And, you know, we were zapping, probably shouldn't have zapped, but we were zapping each other just to see what it felt like. And it has like this huge pamphlet of like 100 different ailments if you zap yourself for more than 10 minutes.
So I would assume not the zapping of a taser.
Yeah, not quite a taser, and definitely not interactive, because I think we won't leave it plugged in for people to try. But trust me, it works, because we've all zapped each other with it.
Oh my gosh, how funny.
Yeah.
How funny. Let's talk about Falcon Field. Obviously, people know about Falcon Field, but fewer know about its connection to the Royal Air Force during World War II. Talk about what story that exhibit tells and why it's such an important part of Mesa's history.
This was so much fun to do because the ladies with the Arizona Aviation Society approached us. I've known them for a long time, and we said we would be happy to do this exhibit. And they went around collecting photos and stories from descendants. And so I got tons of these black and white photos, some of which we've colorized to bring it to life. And just hearing their stories and seeing their letters home and their first impressions of being here in Arizona and how much they loved it. And a lot of them came back and then decided to get married and settle here and have kids. So, and they're a family also. All these descendants get together and they just tell stories, and they've become, you know, there's this kinship amongst all of them because their dads or their grandpas, you know, were pilots training here in World War II. So it really is a fascinating story of how, you know, 2,000 trained here. And then, of course, 19 lost their lives in training accidents, and they're honored at the Mesa Cemetery, and we'll be featuring them in our cemetery tour this year in October.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I remember, probably close to 15 or 16 years ago, we did literally a reenactment of both the Gateway Airport and the Falcon Field Airport on the same day, because they both broke ground on the same day. Like, what would that be, 60 years ago, maybe 50 years ago?
Okay.
Something like that. Anyway, somebody wanted to do a reenactment, so we literally went from Gateway and then, you know, had the shovels and did this whole thing, and then we went to Falcon, and as we were coming around the 202 to come back to Falcon, literally the Apaches were flying that day. It was like the coolest thing ever, because we were all in this caravan, And I've seen pictures of the groundbreakings, and it was like I want to say it was in July, and there's like all these men wearing like wool suits and fedoras, and I'm just thinking, I don't know how. I mean, obviously times have changed and we don't dress like that anymore, but
old school though.
Yeah.
It just didn't change the way, winter, spring, summer, fall.
It was very cool though. Your museums offer so much more than exhibits, with lots of events. Cat Fest. I honestly don't even know about Cat Fest, but other community programs throughout the years. What are some of the experiences you're most excited to share with visitors in the coming months?
We have, we are ever changing and evolving with these events. We started out with 1 or 2, and then it was 3 or 4, now it's 7 or 8. Mm-hmm. But the big thing is to keep generating revenue, right? Sure. We want to, now our big project is that we have an 80-year-old stage inside of the baseball museum, inside the Lehigh Auditorium. Yep. Is the stage. It's the original stage with the original flooring, and after all these years, it's starting to get warped, and so we need to renovate the stage, put safe stage lighting. So we're gonna fundraise to do that stage, because one of the things that was important to us Bobby Freeman, the organist for the Arizona Diamondbacks, he is very keen on music, obviously, and performances and recitals. And we've talked to Milano's a lot, and they have a lot of music students. And where is an affordable community venue for them to play at? And we want to be that. So we are renting out the auditorium privately to people that want to, rent it out. But we want them to be able to have that stage. So that's coming up. Yeah. We're going to be doing bingo night, and we're going to be doing baseball trivia nights. We're just going to keep doing. We started doing guest panels. So recently we had Joe Garziola Jr. and Dave Dunn, and they did a panel. Now we're going to look at baseball clubhouse managers and talk about behind the scenes, what it was like, running a clubhouse in the 50s and 60s. So I think
very different from what it is now, I'm sure.
So different. Steve Vucinich from the A's, he was there for 54 years, and we inherited his trunks that they used, and it's so funny because it was whatever you could fit in that little space in the trunk. And then of course they took the train. So then when they started having to fly, the trunks went by the wayside. So different listening to him tell the story of these old ancient ginormous trunks, and now nobody uses things like that.
So I don't go to like a lot of like estate or yard sales or things like that. I have a few, but I was at a sale that you guys had, oh my gosh, probably 7 years ago.
Oh, our big rummage sale?
Yes. And I found some cool things, but I was uber excited when I found a really old ladder that I wanted to buy it just so I could like paint it and decorate it at Christmas time. I couldn't take it in my car, so Bob from the office here had to go get it for me and then bring it out. But it was such a good find. It was such a good day, and so many people were there just celebrating the museum. I mean, that's why people go, right?
Well, all of our events, we do free admission. That's my thing. It should always be free admission to the museum, because I feel like this. If you're going to get 2,000 people to an event, it doesn't seem right to say, but you have to pay to go in the museum, because I'm hoping that they all go through the museums, now both museums, and then they go and tell their friends and their family, and they say, hey, we've got to go back. So you hope that if you see it, then you'll come back, by admission. Yeah. But the first round is on us.
That's awesome. So you also have an online auction that you do.
Yes, we did one in the summer, as you know. Thank you, Sally.
Yes.
We did one in the summer, and that was to help us with the baseball museum. But then we do a bigger one for the holidays, and we usually have about 35 gift baskets or lots, if you want to call it. We have everything from wine baskets to games and dinner gift certificates, experiences. I mean, purses. It runs. Things. Yeah, we're very eclectic. You never know what we're going to do, but we're kind of known as the eclectic / eccentric little museum.
It's very fun. There. Well, so the Lehigh Auditorium is entering an exciting new chapter too. Like, all these new things. Share the vision for transforming that into a space for community events, performances, what that means for Mesa moving forward.
I think, first of all, for us, it's really helpful to us because, like here we are in this hot down season. So when attendance is down, we're all there anyway. I have to constantly think of new ways to raise revenue because all of our costs go up every year.
Sure.
And, I do my budget and there's only so much you can raise. So all of the events and things we do help support the museum, including now the venue rental, hopefully performances. But we also felt it was important that it was really difficult to get that building finally finished and renovated. And we don't want to make it just about, hey, here's our baseball museum, and then we should lock the doors at 4 o'clock. We want it to be shared with everyone. So we've had several events. The state had their governor's awards there, so
Really?
they and thankfully we were recipient of the governor's award for historic preservation. I told them that would have been a little awkward if we hosted the event and we didn't get an award, but it just worked out that way. We've had a documentary screening. We've had our own events there, so I think that it's just so important for there to be an affordable community rental space in Mesa. Not everybody can afford some of the other venues. They're beautiful, but for a small organization or a nonprofit, they might need something that was a little more affordable, and we hope we can be that for
What's
them.
your capacity for a sit-down event?
We can do 150 sit-down and 200 theater style.
Okay.
Yeah, and what's great is that we put all of our exhibit cases on wheels, on casters, so when it comes to, the event day, it's easy peasy. We just slide it off to the side, and then we've got, full open space.
That's great.
We're not on TV, but I'm still talking with you. I've got to talk with my hands as I'm explaining it to you.
Okay, visual for everybody.
Visual for everyone.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about? That's a lot.
No, yeah,
There's
it
so
is.
much.
Just come to our Cat Fest. We just announced the save the date, and we already got flooded with people that want to be vendors at Cat Fest, and it's not until February.
Oh, wow.
It is mind-blowing. This will be our 4th year, and it was just a lark. It was just something. I was having conversation with a cat author, and I said something to the effect like we should do CatCon, and she said that's already taken, that name, and what if we called it Cat Fest? And I think it was half joking, and I said, let's do it. And let's just try, because I'm all about trying. Because you never know.
Right.
I mean, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It doesn't cost us anything to try. And I don't remember how many vendors, maybe 25 vendors, and now we have to cut people out. We put people on a wait list because we get so many vendors,
That's
for Cat
good.
Fest. All feline-themed arts and crafts, and cat adoptions, that's the big thing. And just different cat activities. And we do cat presentations, and this year it was standing room only, which blew my mind because I wasn't sure. Cats in the military. We talk about cats in the trenches in World War I. True stories.
Cats.
Yes, because they kept the rat population down.
Oh, that would
so
make
they were
sense.
beloved by soldiers,
Oh,
and they
gosh.
also gave them comfort. And there's old pictures from the early 1920s of men with soldiers with cats that served on the Navy ships. One
my
cat
gosh.
got a posthumous Medal of Honor, yes, afterwards. So,
Oh my
and
gosh.
people love hearing about that. So you never
That's
know what
awesome,
we're going
yeah.
to talk about at Cat Fest.
Very cool. Okay, so what's your website?
www.mesahistoricalmuseum.org or ArizonaBaseballMuseum.org.
Okay, and what are your hours?
We are open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 4.
Okay. All
And people
right.
can just come to the History Museum or just a ticket to baseball or both. We don't make it one size fits all in case they only want to see one.
Okay, and where are you located?
We are at 2345 North Horn in Mesa, and for those locals, we're out in the Lehigh area. So the nice, beautiful agriculture area where we see horses going by
I was gonna say I
on
don't know
a
that
regular basis.
I've ever been there without a horse.
Yeah,
coming
always
by
a horse
while I'm
and
while I'm
always a
driving.
rooster in the morning. When I get there early to open up for events, there's always roosters going off. Yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you for coming by.
Thank you for
Appreciate
having
the
me, Sally. It was
updates.
fun.
How exciting! I'm
Yay.
excited for you guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
This has been a Mesa Chamber of Commerce Inside Business podcast. You can find all podcast episodes at iTunes, Spotify, or your own favorite podcast website. You can also find them online at mesachamber.org. Content of this podcast is copyright the Mesa Chamber of Commerce, unless otherwise noted.